meeting?
I would have very easily given, because when we got the brief earlier, we were of the view that when fuel is used on a capital project, it can be capitalized. But now you have brought more problems. So this matter cannot be resolved. So this is no longer a misclassification issue. This is an issue of lack of documentation to support the expenditure. So Auditor General, they say that they've got the detailed work orders, the detailed fuel schedules. This matter remains outstanding, and you could update us in the next audit cycle. If they cannot justify this, then this is theft of public resources that must be dealt with. Senator Sifuna, we go with that directive?
Yeah, we go with that directive.
Yeah, but this will be very, very interested in subsequent evidence that is before us. I think if we come across one or two other things that look like they were cooked in some back street in your county, we will ask ourselves whether there is any value in having this conversation. Senator Mwaruma, we can proceed?
Yes, Chair.
Fine. Let's proceed to the next one on variances on statutory contributions. OAG, this is still outstanding.
Chair, the matter is still outstanding. Can I read, Chair?
Yes, please.
The statement of receipts and payments reflects compensation of employees of Kenya shillings 2,661,985,420. Review of human resources records reveal that the county executive deducted National Health Insurance Fund, that is NHIF, and National Social Security Fund, NSSF, employee contributions totaling 45,333,700 and 60,694,320 respectively. However, third-party confirmation from NHIF and NSSF showed that the total amount remitted as employee contribution was 45,259,450 and 49,765,920, resulting to an explained variance of 74,250 and 10,928,400 respectively as unremitted deductions. Further, management did not remit the NHIF matching employer contribution of 45,333,700 as required by Section 15 2D of the NHIF Act of 2022. In the circumstances, the completeness and accuracy of the compensation of employees of 2,661,985,420 could not be confirmed.
What was the recommendation in summary?
Chair, on this we had 4 recommendations. One, that the county executive adheres to section 22(2)A of the Public Finance Management County Government Regulations 2015, which provides that the accounting officer complies with any tax, levy, duty, pension commitments, and audit commitments as may be provided by legislation. 2, the county executive engages relevant entities to formulate a payment agreement to settle the outstanding statutory deductions. The third one, the management adheres to section 19(4) of the Employment Act 2007 regarding remittance of employee remuneration deductions in accordance with the period specified by the relevant bodies. And lastly, management to ensure all deductions and remittances of NSSF and NHIF should be supported with the receipts of remittances. Yes, there were 4.
Okay. Governor, what action have you taken?
The third party e-slip and remits the amount when the 2 sources of data matches or reconciles. See attached Appendix 4.
Auditor General, you've looked at Appendix 4. What does it say?
Chair, they are in support of e-slip payments. However, our concern was that the e-slips provided were not supported with the payment vouchers. So we could not confirm what the e-slips were supporting, which expenditure and for which period. So maybe management can clarify on that.
Surely, Governor, this matter really is such a small, easy thing to reconcile. You have a variance of 74,000 between what you deducted on NHIF and what you remitted. 74,000. And I'm frustrated because I've seen counties where they deduct but they don't remit at all. So the variance is in tens of millions. So you are doing fairly well. What is so difficult to reconcile this 74,000, starting from NHIF, which is defunct anyway? That is what I would have expected you to say here, because your response here does not address the issue. Tell me how you have addressed the 74,000 variance under NHIF, how you have addressed the 10.9 million variance under NSSF. That's the answer I want.
Chair, Executive Member for Finance, I tasked him to do all this exercise. Maybe he can explain.
Yeah, please be direct to the numbers. NHIF is defunct. It's no longer there. Just tell us what you are doing in terms of reconciliation. Then there's also the issue of the matching contributions of 45 million. That's a statement we were expecting here, not just pieces of paper.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. The issue of the variance for the NSSF the unexplained variance for NSSF for 10,980,400,000. If you go to appendix 4, basically these figures were for April 2024 and May 2024, amounting to 5,338,640 and 5,332,880 for May 2024. It resulted to that figure. So what management we did after doing the reconciliation between the payroll data and the e-slip, we went, if you look at appendix 4, there's a bank statement attached.
Wait a minute. So you are explaining that the 5.3 and the 5.6,
The
5.3 and the 5 point,
and 5.3, Chair.
so 5.3, 5.3, that's 10 points,
So we have paid 10.6 million.
10.6.
So the variance is 257,080 shillings.
Auditor General, are those payments related to this gap that you had highlighted?
Yeah, the reason why we are still raising the issue is, although the e-slips have been availed, remember the entity pays NHIF, NSSF periodically. So we wanted to know that these e-slips, where are the payment vouchers that support them? So that
Okay,
we know
officer,
that they
that's
relate to the period.
I think that's for you to wire this 5.3. Isn't there a payment voucher that is raised?
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. Because these were deductions which are already been done, so the payment vouchers are there. But I think, unfortunately, we have not attached them here, because by 30th of June...
Were the payment vouchers for the specific amount, or it was for the employee salary?
It was for the employee salary.
Auditor, is that how it's supposed to be?
Since there were these arrears, they should be able to explain that for this particular month we are paying so much, maybe in excess of what was deducted for the particular month. That deduction probably includes the arrears. The deduction includes the arrears for the previous month. But if that narration is not done, Chair, it will be a bit tricky for us to maybe...
Okay, there's a Puritan route which you are insisting on. But are these payments, are these e-slips, are they verifiable? Do they relate to, from your perspective as OAG, are they verifiable and are they relevant to the query in question?
Your Chair, the e-slips are verifiable because they have also attached the bank statements to actually show that the amount was paid. And as we have said there, the payments, bank payments are supposed to be related with a payment voucher. And as we have actually correctly asked as to whether the salary is included with the NHF and SSF, there are always an attachment. A total payment for a payment voucher, attached to the payment voucher is a listing of all the deductions that are supposed to be remitted. So for us to reconcile the e-slips with the respective payment vouchers, we should be able to, unless they are paying in arrears, whereby now it becomes, where they have to clearly state this e-slip is being payment for the month of July. They have to clearly indicate it is paying for which respective month, so that now we can be able to reconcile.
Thank you. That's why I say that's a Puritan route, because this committee, we have dealt with bigger problems, much bigger problems of hundreds of millions of deductions not remitted. So if you confirm that these slips are verifiable, I think we can then just make comments on the process and making sure that you follow the laid down procedures. But Senator Maruma, I think there must have been a discussion on this in a different committee with regards to Taita, Taveta, particularly health workers, or if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, I think for the health workers who do not have their statutory deductions remitted, we need to know if they finally have been remitted. And number two, Chair, the query has a second limb where there is the matching employer contribution of 45,303,700. Has that been paid?
Yes, respond.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My senator from Taita Taveta, the 10.9 million, up to now we have paid 10.671 million. So you still have a variance of...
No. We are, that one we have said is okay. There is a 45.33 million where you're supposed to make a matching employer contribution.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. The 45.33700, we have a variance of 74,250. That is for NHIF, if I'm not mistaken. 74,250. Which, if you look at that...
see, we are talking about matching employer contribution. The first 45,333 is an employee contribution, which you have deducted. So you deduct and you match, isn't it? So the 74,000 is on what the employee has contributed. Now, did you match the employee contribution?
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. We matched. So what we are remaining is these two variances for NSSF and NHIF.
Where is the evidence that you matched? Because that was a question by the Auditor General. On the employee contribution, he agrees that the variance is 74. On the employer matching contribution, he has not seen any evidence.
Thank you, Chair. I think from the way of, as the auditor was addressing it, the bone of contention is these funds were deducted for NSSF and NHIF, but the figures did not match. And the variances were...
Leave the interpretation
Okay.
to us. Senator Spoon?
Very simple, straightforward question. You matched the funds.
The answer is
Did you
not
match the
100%.
My brother, you know, these are the things that get people in trouble.
you told the chair that you matched the funds. What do you mean by not fully? It's a yes or no answer question. Did you match the funds?
Yes, we match the funds.
So where is that? Where is the evidence of the matching? That's what the chair wants to say.
You have e-slips, whatever, payment vouchers, just as simple as that.
Thank you, Chair. What we have attached in our evidence is the bank statements where we have remitted those funds.
So where is that?
There's in Appendix 4. Sorry. You will see KCB iBank. There's a figure for 5,333,280.
Officer, I thought we had already dealt with that. And I've already even given you a pat on the back. You want to take us back there? Fine.
Chair.
If you want to take us back there, it's okay. We will open a can of worms.
And what the query is saying is that you deduct NHIF from employees, and what was deducted was 45 million. Now the county government is supposed to pay an equivalent of 45 million. Did the county government pay that 45 million?
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Member. The county government paid 45,259,450.
Give us the annexure that we're citing.
It is still in annexure 4. There are slips there to show the 45,259,450.
Auditor General, this 45 million that was remitted, was it the employee and employer contribution combined?
Your Chair, the 45, there are two aspects. There's the employee contribution and then the employer contribution. We have indicated the variance of the employee contribution because we had an analysis, and during their response for the March, when they responded, they still did an analysis whereby the variance remained. What they have not supported, because I still insist on a payment voucher. A payment voucher will clearly indicate this is employer contribution for the period ending this totaling to this amount. Now that document, that payment voucher, clearly indicating employer contribution, because deductions are easily matched with the salary deductions. But employer contribution is a voucher indicating this. That document was not provided.
So, have they? Let me ask you, because it is explaining that it paid 45 million, and in my mind that was what was deducted from employees. There was something they were supposed to pay from the county. See, are we on the same page?
Yes, Chair.
So we have already admitted that yes, you paid 45.25 million, leaving a variance of 74 from what you deducted from employees. Did you pay the employer's contribution? The matching, because you're matching shilling to shilling, isn't it? It's 1-to-1.
No, what I'm struggling to understand, Chair, from the Auditor General, because the entity is deducting from employees, then it's supposed to also give its own resources. How do you distinguish that money? How do you know this one is for employee deductions? So that we deal with the cleverness from the finance people. Because even this one here, the iBank from KCB doesn't say employee deductions. It just has a figure.
So, Chair, this is why we were insisting that we need a payment voucher, where you clearly narrate this is employer contribution or this is deduction from salaries of employees.
So have they provided any payment vouchers, including whether it is employee deduction or their contribution?
Yeah, they can explain that to the committee.
Have they provided the vouchers?
Not yet.
Not yet. Governor?
Through Chair, Honorable Member, maybe can we just I give it to the officer who deals with exactly that transaction, Mr. Nganga.
Okay. Hope not the architect again.
No. Nganga, Chief Finance Officer.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, we paid the employees' contribution, but employer contribution has not been paid.
Now, that's a statement of fact that we need. So the next question is why? Why?
Okay. What I can say is the financial constraint, because salaries are paid directly, and the deductions, when we pay salary, we pay the deductions in full. But now, this is an amount that is supposed to be paid separately.
Can your employee get services from a medical facility if the employer's contribution has not been remitted? Is the cover valid?
Yeah. Okay.
The cover cannot be valid when part of the premiums have not been paid. And perhaps that's why your employees are right to have gone on demos and protests, that they cannot access health services because the county is not remitting their contributions.
Chair, I think we are talking about NSSF.
Management did not remit the NHIF matching employer contribution of 45 million. Have you read this report, or is this report wrong?
Okay, Chair, NHIF has no matching. It is NSSF that has matching.
Auditor General?
Yes. That's correct, Chair. That is an error. It should be NSSF.
I'm very disappointed, Leonard, because this is the second matter that we are correcting. And could the entity correct this at the time when they saw the draft letter?
They should point out.
So what else? So it means that right from the start, the 45 million we're dealing with is NSSF, and 60 million is NHIF.
45 million is NHIF, 49 million is NSSF, matching contribution is for NSSF, which is 45,333,700.
So everything there changes, including the law that has been breached. You know, that materially affects your finding. And it makes us even look clueless as a committee if you're relying on your report.
Yeah, Auditor, you must really proofread. These are very serious documents. Do you proofread them? Or you are hurrying because of the 229, Article 229, to beat the 31st December deadline?
Oh, this is very material.
Yeah, yes.
This is very material, surely. Auditor.
Chair, I think this was an error. Our apology on this, but it is NSSF.
So how do we then mitigate on this, or we follow it through in the subsequent audit?
Yes, Chair. But the bottom line is the county executive should ensure that they always remit their matching employer contributions.
Auditor, because you are the one who misreported this, please review this in the next audit cycle. Considering that NHIF has been wound down, it would also be important to know how that transition has been done.
Much obliged.
Yeah, but since there was a material misstatement here, I think go back to it and report back to us on the status of those statutory contributions. Senator Barua?
Because, Chair, you have ruled previously that in the subsequent audit reports, You deal with prior year matters by indicating clearly the unresolved issues. So you can now reframe this, rephrase it, and have it in the subsequent audit report.
Chair.
Now,
Senator
Governor, I have a problem with the gentleman sitting to your left. He was misleading us. The other one has told us the exact opposite of what you were telling us on the level of compliance. So what am I supposed to do with you?
Through the chair and honorable members, Senators Funa, I apologize for misleading the honorable members.
No, but you should also read the query. I don't know why it is the Senate that is challenging the query of the Auditor General. You should have straight away told us that, this is, there's an error there, and we would have already moved on. So, fine, we'll take your apology. You have been rescued by the Auditor General. If they didn't withdraw their finding, then we would have roasted you. So we then proceed, but as I've mentioned, I've seen bigger problems. And Senator Maruma, you have been with me here. You've seen counties that deduct, but they don't remit at all. So please make sure that your books and accounts are up to date. I think this is commendable, but let the Auditor General give us a more detailed report. On unsupported expenditure, purchase of seeds, breeding stock and live animals, OAG.
Chair, this matter was adequately addressed by the executive during the March engagement, and it was not in your recommendations.
Fine. On routine maintenance, vehicles and other transport equipment.
Can I read? This is outstanding.
Yes, you can read particularly the outstanding points.
Oh, the statement of receipts and payments reflect use of goods and services of 915,939,831. This amount includes 11,276,843 spent on routine maintenance, that is vehicles and other transport equipment. We sampled 10 payment vouchers which had the following anomalies. One, there was payment of 354,000 to a breakdown as a consequence of direct procurement in violation of the existing procurement rules. Then motor vehicle maintenance logbook was not provided in support of payment for motor vehicle and repair maintenance amounting to 929,482. Overhaul, repair and maintenance of environment truck vehicle amounting to 661,500, and then repair and maintenance of fire engine vehicle at 675,550, all amounting to 2,266,532. Then the third issue, there was payment for motor vehicle repair and maintenance at 929,482, which was based on a pro forma invoice, and no receipt was provided for advance payment, for the advance payment. Now, Chair, they have since availed motor vehicle maintenance log, and the matter has been dispensed with.
Maybe Chair can be a bit systematic, starting with the one, and see what is still subsisting.
Yes, the issue of breakdown, I think management should be able to clarify why they did direct procurement. Although they have given a police abstract which shows that there was only one breakdown in Voi, but that particular letter does not have a letterhead or a reference number.
What is the issue in that audit query?
The issue is direct procurement of a breakdown vehicle.
Okay. I think we had some recommendations there, but I think let's just go straight to the governor's response, now that part of that query has been addressed. Governor, what's your response on each of the...
Thank you, Chair. Administrative action has not been taken against the officer. No, sorry, administrative action has been taken against the officer. See attached administrative warning letter, Appendix 5A, logbooks, Appendix 5B, and police letter 5C.
Your answers are very brief, Governor.
Maybe I can give it to the officer who was dealing with this matter.
Yes?
Director Procurement, Amos.
Where is the director? Is the director in the room? What is the officer supposed to explain, Governor?
On the direct procurement.
But the chief officer is here. He can explain, and the explanation that I was getting was that there's only one ambulance, no breakdown in VOI. Maybe then what would be questioning from the auditor is if there's value for money, or do we think that we spent more than we're supposed to spend? If there's only one breakdown in VOI, then what does the county do in such a situation?
Thank
Or
you,
it is
Chair.
not plausible to have one breakdown?
Thank you, Chair.
The one that is called Statutory.
We cannot confirm whether there was only one breakdown. One, the police abstract, which shows that there is one breakdown, cannot be confirmed as authentic because it has no letterhead, it has no reference number. If that was done, then we could say that maybe it's from an authority who is dealing with motor vehicles in the region. That should be the first point of entry.
There was a police abstract.
There was a letter.
I can see a letter.
If you live in Kenya, you know that it's a police who won breakdowns.
Even this base commander's name is not disclosed on that letter. Is this how the police write?
This one is just, I don't think we'll admit this kind of letter. We know that the base commanders are the ones who operate breakdowns.
Correct.
Your car is clamped or you are in a traffic situation, a breakdown shows up immediately. I don't think the police is the best witness in this particular matter.
Also, Governor, this administrative action that you speak of, I see the letter that you have exhibited at 5A is addressed to everyone. It's a letter from your CEC, Finance and Economic Planning, to all county chief officers, municipal managers, and the acting secretary. When the committee recommends administrative action against the officer, you have to identify that officer so that you generate a HR history for them.
Yeah, let's move quickly. This is 354,000. I think we shouldn't spend too much time on it. Where is the officer who was supposed to explain this?
Thank you, Chairman. What I can admit is that we only have one breakdown services at that period, and because it was an accident, and the vehicle was in a place where it could not have stayed for long, and we had to contract the services of this service provider.
What's the relevance of this letter from the base commander?
Because no one understands that in VOI we have only one towing service that comes from
who it is addressed to whom it may concern. It sounds like an advertisement for Hatunachuki VOI breakdown service. This is an advert by the base commander promoting this breakdown service and giving it monopoly. How did you get a hold of this letter?
We only, I think the service provider has it in his profile.
So you trust a service provider to to give you a letter written by the police that he's the only one available in the town?
Because we did our own due diligence. There's no any other service provider.
No. Let me. What is a thought? What is a thought and the process of getting the police to write this letter? Of getting the base commander to write that Hatunachuki is the only breakdown service in Voi?
I think because of the accidents that do happen.
So who are they addressing this letter to?
I think it was just, I think there's a recommendation or something.
Prompted by?
It was, I think the service provider was just proving himself that he's a service provider of them.
This is collusion between the service provider and the police. For the police to advertise its services and to establish it as a monopoly. This cannot answer the audit query.
Yeah.
Surely this is completely untidy. We know those practices, but we cannot formalize it by accepting this. So, are you saying you used this service because of this letter?
No.
So what is this letter doing at the Senate? Because it's giving me a very bad feeling of collusion between the base commander and the breakdown service. A monopoly that is reinforced by state security. And, we are on that day when people are not very happy with the police. And when some of these letters go out and they see what the base commanders are doing in terms of monopolizing the recovery service, it's just going to add further fuel to the fires that are already out there. This letter is completely distasteful. There is no way the police can declare someone a monopoly in a region. So, you said that the documents are now available for audit review. Where are they? Is it this letter by the police? If you look at the column on management response, the approval of direct procurement and documents in support of the same are now provided for audit review. Where are they? Are they in the files before us?
They were provided for during audit. The only issue that stand unresolved was the assurance or that the confirmation that this provider is the only provider.
So you went to the police to write for you a letter?
No.
Maybe, Chair, let me help on this particular one. Actually, there's only one service provider for breakdown, unfortunately. In fact, for the whole county. That's the unfortunate thing. However, we need to know if there's value for money for this 354,000 shillings. Where did the accident occur? And which vehicle had an accident? And how was it towed? And to where? From where to where? So that maybe we see if there's value for money.
Yeah, even with the assurance, I still find it wrong for the police to be the one writing this kind of letter because they're getting to a space that is not theirs. Okay, respond to Senator Marumas.
The accident happened some times back, and it happened in the area in Undanyi, and it fell over a hill, and there was a lot of vegetation, and it was being recovered from that place, and it was taken from all over from Undanyi to Voi police station.
Auditor General, so you saw the documents to support the direct procurement.
Chair, I think this is the only document that maybe would serve the committee, but it is not a correct document. So the issue of direct procurement still stands in our view. But in that column, they're saying the approval of direct procurement and documents in support of the same were availed.
Can we establish that so that now we discuss the other value for money things?
In support of direct procurement, there is no document. It's you just tender, you just get one service provider to provide. But according to the Act, there are regulations. One, there must be an emergency, and one that...
Sorry, OIG.
Yes, sir.
The approval of direct procurement and documents in support are now provided for audit review. Were those provided, as that officer says?
No document apart from that police abstract.
Please state your name again. And when, because for Hansard purposes, we need to capture who is speaking. Yeah?
Okay, I'm Amos Mangala, the County Director, Supply Chain Management.
Fine. You have said under management response that you provided the direct procurement approval documents to the Auditor General. Did you?
Yes, I provided. The only issue was that it was only...
Leave alone what the only issue is. Did you provide those documents?
Yes, I provided. There was a letter. There was a letter from...
Now, why did you feel that it was not necessary to bring that to the Senate and bring this letter by the police instead?
Maybe it was the only issue outstanding was the confirmation.
Please do not make your own assumptions. Assumptions are the mother of all problems. If there's an audit query, come with the documents supporting that audit query. If there's something you provided to the auditor outside the audit timelines, make sure you bring it to the Senate as well. Because, auditor, if this had been provided at the time of audit, would you have raised the query?
Normally, we raise a query based on limitations, like based on the Act, the compliance. Like, for example, they provide a quotation for the vehicle, but that quotation was only one quotation, that they did not do 3 quotations as required by law. So we require them to comply with the law to show that it's an emergency or it's not an emergency, and if it's the only service provider. That's why we requested them to actually show us proof that that is the only service provider, because the accident where it happened, as the way they were explaining, where somewhere they had to source a breakdown from Voi all the way to Undani.
I think we are spending too much time on 354,000. Auditor, tell us, is this, should we mark this matter as resolved or not?
I think we need your guidance on this, because one issue that is coming out clearly is that the document that has been used in support of the fact that there is only one breakdown is not admissible. Secondly, documents that show approval for the direct procurement were not provided. So unless these two are done properly, then maybe we can say the matter is addressed.
Officer, I'm going to put you on oath to confirm what you are saying, because the OAG says they didn't receive those documents. You are insisting that you got those documents. Is it your position that you provided those documents and you can provide evidence?
Yes.
What is your evidence?
I mean, there's maybe on a file that maybe ask my CCO, the file that we gave to the auditor before it was...
No, it cannot be a file. It must be a record that answers this directly.
Yes, it is there.
What is it?
It was a letter written by the then CCO, Department of Roads, Public Works, explaining that there is an accident that has happened in Undani, and they need to tow that vehicle, and now that they only they only have one service provider to tow that vehicle.
Is that the approval of direct procurement?
No, it was just a letter, and then after that we went ahead now and did an approval. And
was that a separate document?
No, it was written on top of. It was written on top of that letter that the process, the direct procurement is approved as per section this and that.
Now, and that letter only exists in your mind because the Auditor General has not seen it, the Senate has not seen it.
Maybe then maybe I provide it.
Now, I will direct that that should not even take 7 days.
Okay, sir.
Please, if auditor,
I think it's
if they cannot provide that, then we are going to surcharge whoever made this decision. This is such a small thing, Governor, and I'm getting frustrated. I thought that by 1, we'll be done with this session. But it is you and your team who are wasting our time. On 354,000, we have spent 20 minutes. All your officer was supposed to do was to provide that letter, and would have taken 2 minutes on this matter.
Take a note of that, Chair.
So, auditor, you can check on that, and then you'll advise us. If they cannot prove it, then we just impose a surcharge. What was the problem with the third part? Auditor. Those,
Second one?
because the second, he said the maintenance log was now provided, but from the third one, there was no receipt provided for the advance payment. Governor, this is a simple one. Just show us where the receipt is for the advance payment.
The Executive Member for Finance, through Chair, maybe can assist us.
Proceed, and please don't give us stories. Just go to the annexures and show us that this is the receipt for the advance payment, and this then addresses the query. If it is there. If it is not, then allow us to give directions. Auditor, did you see, was it provided to you?
Okay, at the time of reviewing, I'd even indicated in my briefs that there was no receipt provided.
So has it now been provided? Governor, do you have that, or we take it that 929 million was stolen? And you see, you guys need to organize yourselves well. The things we are discussing are generally informal sector things. So it's possible that documentation might not be as thorough. But when you find an audit query like this, you must look at the issues that have been raised. If you go to repair a vehicle, perhaps the mechanics are some informal guys who don't have systems, who don't have even ETR.
Chair,
We appreciate that, but you must provide something to support expenditure.
in the interest of effective use of time, even in their response, they have not cited any evidence of a receipt. And so even as we look for it, it doesn't seem to be there because you have not written it as part of your annexures. Then maybe you can give a way forward, Chair.
Yeah, Governor, if it's not there, just say it's not there, then we will make our recommendations.
It is not attached, but it is there.
No. You can't bring fantasies here. If it is not attached, it is not there.
Okay.
If the auditor does not have it, if the auditor didn't see it, it does not exist. Okay. We don't want to give you a backdoor to go and cook receipts, the kind of receipts that Senator Sifuna has already flagged.
Yeah, because the problem was at that time of audit, the Associated Motors did not provide the receipt. The only problem is that they had also changed their systems, so they had to go and retrieve it, and it took too much time.
I think members will give directives on this because we cannot confirm that public funds were used properly. We shall make recommendations when we're doing our report writing. We proceed to printing, advertising, information, supplies and services. OAG.
Thank you, Chair. I think this matter was also addressed adequately by management, and it was not included in your recommendations.
Okay, then we proceed to unsupported pending payables.
Thank you, Chair. Can I read?
Yes.
unsupported pending payables. Note 20 to the financial statement on other important disclosures reflects accounts and staff payables balance carried forward of 1,374,955,773 and 800,170,135 respectively, both totaling 2,175,125,908. However, analysis of detailed ledger indicating order and invoices issued and staff details, which include name and personal numbers, were not provided for audit review. In addition, Annex 3 to the financial statements on staff payable balance of 800,170,135 did not show how much was owed to the senior and middle management and unionizable employees. This was contrary to reporting format prescribed and published by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the accounting standards.
So we had a lengthy recommendation there, which we shall take note of. So Governor, straight away, you could tell us the action that has been taken.
The county government has verified pending bills amounting to 1,374,955,773. The county government has submitted a payment plan for pending bills to the Control of Budget of 209,977,511 cents. Out of the verified pending bills, Kenya shillings 121,866,614 and 20 cents has been paid as at March 2025. The pending bill report has been compiled in accordance with the PSAB's reporting template. See attached payment plan, paid pending bills and pending bill template as per the guidelines of PSASB Appendix 6.
Auditor General, what's your view on that response?
Chair, the county government prepared a payment plan of 200 million, and as at March, they had paid 21 million. Subsequently, they indicated
21
that
or 121?
21 as at March, when we had the March engagement. Later, they have indicated that they have paid 121 million. What I can confirm is that at this juncture, we cannot confirm this payment, but our teams are already working with the county executive. They are there. They started working, they are there, they have been there for about 1.5 weeks. So we have tasked them to verify and confirm to the committee how much has been paid, whether it is indeed 121 million. And secondly, as per your other resolutions, we have also tasked them to confirm the authenticity of the expenditures that relate to the pending bills, whether they were proper charged to public funds. Yes. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, in your financial statements, did you provide the breakdown, a scheduled breakdown of your pending bills?
My officer, Ganga, can you maybe respond to that?
It's a yes or no.
If they are provided, you say yes. If they are not, you say no.
Chair, we had provided.
Which annexure? In the financial statements, not in your files.
Financial statements. Annexing financial statements.
The standard requires you to disclose. This thing, this tiny printout you put here, you are required to attach it to the financial statements to support those balances. Was it provided? Yes or no? I am also looking at it. Just show me where it is, where it was attached. Because the audit query says 800 million was listed as staff payables. but there was no detail on who was owed what. Now, when you have 800 million as staff payables, that is an extremely high amount of money. I don't think I've seen that in any other county. Maybe with the exception of Nairobi because of LAP Fund and LAP Trust. How can you have pending bills due to staff of 800 million? And who are those? That is the audit query. That's not my question. That's the query here. Because you have said you are paid 121. We are not sure whether 121 relates to the staff payables or 121 relates to the 1.37 billion. If you owe staff 800 million, then what kind of organization are you running?
Chair, just as a follow-up, the last time the executive appeared before the health committee, led by Senator Mandago, we talked about this 800 million. And you did a payment plan. You are proposing that you take a loan from the bank and in a supplementary budget that should cater for payment of part of this 800 million. I think it's a good opportunity to ask how much then out of this 800 million you have paid as per the payment plan that we gave to the Senate Committee of Health, which is actually part of the Senate, the House of the Senate.
What is this 800 million? What is it? You are not paying salaries at all.
Maybe, Chair, if I may comment on it. The 800 million.
So state your name for Hansard purposes.
My name is Hezron Mzuri.
And your role in the organization?
I work in the reporting unit.
Yeah, just have the mic close to you so that you are audible.
The 800 million was inclusive of salaries for June and May at that time, because it was at the audit was at the close of the year.
And how much was that?
So the actual payable was around, for statutory was 500 and something. Because the two...
Look,
yes.
When it comes to money, it is not 500 and something. It is exact. Can you go and get a schedule and refer to that schedule as you're telling us this story? That's why I've asked whether there was a schedule attached to these financial statements to break it down. And that's why the Auditor General also said and reported that 800 million was there, but they could not tell who was owed that money. You can't come here and give us a narration. You owe us a detailed schedule.
Guided, Chair.
So do you have it?
At the moment, I don't have it. But
so, Governor, you don't know who you owe in the organization, starting from staff. Isn't there someone who should have that information?
Chair, I'm sorry for that, but at one time I also got embarrassed and I had to do some action to the former executive member and the CCO because of the same problem, Chair.
But then the current should do better.
Chair, I've noted it and I will do something on the same.
No, Governor, Papana. You know, you are familiar to us because you are a member of parliament. But that is not how this county should be run.
Chair.
Senator Samburu.
Chair, the officer just informed the committee that out of the 800 million, 500 million is owed to staff as statutory deductions. And you said that for the month of May and June. So do you want to tell us that the statutory deductions for the month of June is 500 million?